and to my sister from another mister. This is AJ from the Dallas County Republican Party, and we were just sitting here chopping it up, talking about old times as if we've known each other since Jesus was an infant. And I just learned, AJ, that your congresswoman is Jasmine Crockett. And so in light of discovering that useful piece of information, tell me, one, what is it like living in her district? Would you say that Jasmine Crockett is doing a really good job representing your constituency? What are some of the problems that you see under her leadership?
It's very rough. Jasmine Crockett, she is somebody that I kind of see as a person that she's just, she's in Congress. She just wants her moment. Social media type of guru, social media star. That's her. I think that she's using Congress as a platform for her to become famous in a social media type of personification.
So you don't think that she actually takes her role as Congresswoman serious, or it's more of a moment to shine? Because I get it. Politics at one point, we didn't have social media as a component. You were just an elected official. You were doing your job in D.C., then you come back to your district. There was really no way for you to build a platform off of this, but you're saying from what you've noticed that you've seen a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the vibe that she sends off. There's really no accountability, no transparency. I think that she just wants to capitalize off of being a race baiter, a race hustler. She knows how to compel the people of South Dallas specifically to make them feel as if she is with them, but really it's just a means for her to maintain her power in office. She's using race and race baiting as a kind of as a vehicle to appear as if she's for the people, but she's really about herself. She's really about making a name for herself. And honestly, we need better representation. South Dallas it's an area that being affiliated with the Dallas County Republican Party, so we just newly elected Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. He took office back in June, and before then there wasn't really any representation from the Republican Party in the South Dallas area. Well, all of that is about to change.
Wow.
It's a new sheriff in town, and we already had our first Republican event in the South Dallas area. We're going to continue to do that. And we are just going to, number one, we're going to just show up, because that's what hasn't happened. And so a lot of times you have people that are in the South Dallas community and are within CD District 30, which is the district. They're looking for hope. But unfortunately, we're not getting it. We have a lot of people that have been in office. Our county commissioner, John Wally Price. If you're from the Dallas area, you know that name very well. He's kind of like the Al Sharpton of Dallas, if you will. He's been in office for 38 years. I mean, I remember hearing the name John Wally Price when I was in elementary school. So, these are people that are just really, I think, using the Black community. And enough is enough. It's time to bring the message of hope, liberty, freedom,
functioning in your freedom.
Absolutely, and actually in prosperity, because for so long the Democratic Party has put on this persona like they are for the people and we are for the working class. But if you look at all of the Democratic cities, they're ran by Democrats. They all
have the same things in common. You've got subjugation, oppression, poverty, lack of educational opportunities. One thing I was hoping you would touch base on just a little bit in your experience with the Republican Party. School choice is one of those main things that I believe the Black community can use to lift itself up out of poverty versus a new government program that's going to do it. Do you guys have any sort of initiative in place for that with the Dallas County GOP bringing the idea of school choice to the forefront, or is that something that you guys have already worked on and you're starting to see measurable gains in that area?
So honestly, to speak to school choice, because I'm very involved not only in the county level but also the state level. I go down to Austin. I'm there. I mean, we have a whole situation with the speaker race. That's for another story. So there's a lot of controversy in Texas with the whole idea of school choice.
Really?
Yeah. Some people feel like as long as there's no strings attached, because a lot of times, there's things that the government will put into place that they'll package it up with and make it sound good, but there's a lot of strings attached. So I'm for whatever is going to give parents their rights, parental rights in education. I'm actually very involved in education. I ran for state board of education, but also, parental rights. The CRT, that's got to go.
Got to go.
The gender ideology, all of that needs to go. And so parents need to have a say in their children's education. And yes, and I think that the money should follow the child. So I'm for a program that is not where the government isn't going to be deceptive and to get in the way.
So it sounds more like what you're saying is more of an educational freedom versus school choice. And so as a homeschool mom, you're one of the first people when I bring up school choice to bring up the idea that we're all for educational freedom. We just don't want the government being overly intrusive in our choices. So in order for me to get my own tax dollars back, I don't want to have to report to the government, answer to the government. I am not sharing custody of my child with the government. So it sounds like you and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to educational freedom. So what should we expect from Dallas County in terms of possibly, maybe running a candidate against Jasmine Crockett, the queen of Ratchetang from the great state of Texas? I would love to see an up-and-coming rising, and they don't have to be a Black American, we're not ethnically narcissistic. We don't need to see people that look like us to understand that they represent our values, but you don't have to spill the beans. You can just tell us a little bit about what the GOP plans to do in Dallas County to possibly unseat such an unsavory individual.
So basically, the Dallas County Republican Party, it's been quite irrelevant for the past couple of years. So having Lieutenant Colonel Allen West in this position, so one of the jobs of a chairman for a party is to recruit candidates. Before Lieutenant Colonel was in that position, we had 75% of Republicans were not running for office. So 75% of our elections in Dallas County went unopposed. So that's about to change. As a matter of fact, so while we are working on CD 30, that's coming up in about 2 years. We have an election that's coming up in May, which is a city council race. So we're already working on recruiting candidates for school board, for city council. We've got 14 districts, and we are actively at the headquarters recruiting candidates. So we are going to make sure that there is a conservative Republican in those seats.
Listen, I love the way this sister talks. Thank you so much, AJ, for spending this time with me to introduce my audience to the Dallas County Republican Party.
Absolutely.
Until next time, you guys, grace and peace. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.